Gun, Ferrothorn, Giratina. That's an interesting one that I haven't seen.
Pokemon.
And then we have Togekiss. Now on Kyle's side, you can't see that one quite yet. We have Rayquaza, Kyogre, also another Ferrothorn, Gengar, Crobat, and Weavile. So with these, you know, we obviously have our restricted Pokemon on here.
Mario having the Xerneas and Giratina as restricted Pokemon.
Yeah, Xerneas and Giratina, those are probably going to be the picks in these because they're so strong.
Right.
What do you think he's going to have to pair with those to make this a very effective match?
So usually a good pair for Xerneas is Kangaskhan or Togekiss because Kangaskhan has a move Fake Out, which makes it so that one of your opponents flinches, making it easier for Xerneas to set up that turn.
That way they miss their attack.
Right? They miss their attack, and Xerneas can use a move like Dazzling Gleam or Geomancy.
Yeah.
And then Togekiss also has the move Follow Me, which can redirect attacks and stop opponent.
Okay, and it looks like we're getting the first game of top 4 underway. You're going to see Kyle's team on the bottom with Mario's team on the top. So we're going to go ahead. We see Mario issuing the challenge. And we see Zapdos coming out, as well as Ferrothorn. And now for Kyle, we see
Weavile and Crobat.
Okay, now this is a very unusual lead because Mario, he starts with one of the unrestricted legendaries and a Ferrothorn. And Kyle straight up decides to go completely unrestricted. So they're saving those restricted Pokemon in the back. What do you think that Mario's going to have to do here to swing this beginning battle?
So, there are a few options Kyle can have. Weavile is known to do Fake Out on the first turn to help Crobat set up moves such as Tailwind, or Crobat also has the move Quick Guard, but that won't be useful here since Ferrothorn and Zapdos don't get any
priority moves, yeah.
So Crobat's going for the Super Fang on Ferrothorn, taking it down to almost half HP. However, Iron Bards is doing some damage, and it's holding the Rocky Helmet.
That's a lot of damage there that went onto that Crobat to punish that. And then we have the Icicle Crash coming onto the Zapdos.
Kyle looks like
one-shot the Zapdos.
One shot in the Zapdos. That's a lot of damage.
Holy mackerel. And then we see the Life Orb damage take off that. And then Ferrothorn is going to go ahead and get that Leech Seed on the Weavile to help restore some of that damage that it took from that Super Fang from the Crobat.
Yeah, Ferrothorn seems to be a pretty bulky Pokemon here. Even though that Super Fang took away half of its HP, Mario is using Leech Seed to restore its HP, and it's a bit of a problem for Weavile and Crobat since they're both generally physical attacking Pokemon.
Yep, and now we have the Kangaskhan come out. That's probably going to be his Mega Pokemon for the game, because both players, they're allowed to have one Mega Pokemon Mega Evolve during the game.
Right.
So this is probably his swing strategy here, to bring out his Mega now. I'm really surprised because we're now seeing 3 Pokemon. We haven't seen the restricted Pokemon yet come out from Mario's side, so I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. So, like we predicted, the Mega Kangaskhan comes out. The Parental Bond is going to make it so it can attack twice.
Parental Bond is very useful because it does get a lot of damage off because it's able to hit twice. So Weavile, you can see, is going for the low kick on Pinhead and almost knocks it out, but it survives. And Iron Head and Rocky Helmet will reduce Weavile down to half HP.
Wow, that Weavile
it's just going down.
Punished. Yeah.
And then Kangaskhan's going for the Power-Up Punch. Now, that's a big move to do here because Kangaskhan now gets an attack boost from hitting Weavile, and Kyle loses his Weavile.
Well, not only that, but Kyle also used Quick Guard with his Crobat, and unfortunately, Kyle didn't quite predict what was going on. He tried to think that the Fake Out was coming, but it didn't. Now, Kangaskhan just got that free attack boost from the Power-Up Punch.
Kangaskhan got the free attack boost, and Pinhead survived and got the Gyro Ball off on the Crobat.
Yeah, that Gyro Ball, not nearly as powerful, but, you know, it really did a lot of damage to take out that much HP from the Crobat. Now the Crobat's going to be within very easy KO range.
So we see Kyle send out Primal Kyogre.
And now Primal Kyogre, it has a very special ability, the Primordial Sea. The Primordial Sea, it creates a heavy rain, which means that fire moves completely useless in the heavy rain.
Yeah, that's been a very big thing with teams lately. as with Kyogre and Groudon. Kyogre stopping fire moves, whereas Groudon stopping water moves, so they're kind of go head-to-head with each other.
Yeah, and not only that, but these primal weather conditions, they can't be erased by normal weather conditions like sunny day or hail.
Okay, so we're seeing the Kyogre go for the Protect, as well as the Ferrothorn going for a Protect. So it looks like Mario is trying to preserve his Ferrothorn for a while. Crobat goes for the Tailwind, getting it set up. What will Kangaskhan go for? Okay,
Kangaskhan's going for the Double Edge, but unfortunately that Kyogre was able to protect it. Now, that's really scary, having a Double Edge coming from a Kangaskhan that hits twice with the attack boost.
That is a lot of damage, may even have the power to take out a Kyogre.
Yeah, being able to one-shot that Kyogre, that's going to be very, very critical for Kyle. Now, if Kyle can somehow swing this, because right now they're both pretty evenly matched right now. We see the Sucker Punch.
And it goes for the Sucker Punch on the Crobat.
And
knocking it out.
The KO. Good job on that KO there. Now we're going to see the Origin Pulse. That's probably going to knock out the Ferrothorn. The Ferrothorn had very little HP. Kangaskhan is able to survive.
Kangaskhan barely survives, but it still did a lot of damage due to the primal weather being set up for rain. We're seeing Kyle send out Rayquaza and Mario send out Xerneas.
Okay, now with Rayquaza's ability, Airlock, that Primordial Sea does nothing now.
Yep, Airlock pretty much neutralizes the effect of any weather out there.
Yeah, so now that protection from fire not present, that a boost that the water Pokemon would get from their water attacks, that's not going to be present either.
Right, although it doesn't seem like it may not affect this match much because Mario's team doesn't really seem to rely on any rain.
Yeah, but we do see the Xerneas come out. The Xerneas, obviously, with Fairy Aura, going to increase its attacks. We see the Extreme Speed. This is going to come from the Mega Rayquaza. That's going to knock out the Mega Kangaskhan.
Kangaskhan is going down.
Yep.
And we see Kyogre go for Thunder on Xerneas.
See, and that's really kind of a risky play because Thunder kind of has some shaky accuracy. It can very easily miss. But the Xerneas is going to go ahead, take a really big hit, but that Focus Sash on the Rayquaza is going to make sure it sticks around for at least one more turn.
So it looks like it's now Kyogre and Rayquaza against Xerneas. So will Xerneas be able to pull through and take these Pokemon out?
This is going to be a tough comeback for Mario. Luckily, Mario has a best of 3. This isn't just a single game. So looks like
Mario's forfeiting.
Yep, Mario didn't want to give any more information on that Xerneas, and we're going to be taking this to a game 2. So Kyle was able to go ahead and take that win, but it looks like that Kangaskhan, if it could have gotten that hit on the Kyogre, could have been a very different game.
Yeah, that Double Edge would have done a lot of damage, but Kyle did put a lot of pressure off on the first round, knocking out the Zapdos in the first turn with Icicle Crash.
Oh, yeah.
Life Orb Weavile seems really strong here.
Yeah, the Life Orb being able to increase the attack of all of their attacks at the cost of some HP whenever it does that. You know, a lot of players find that as a fair trade. You know, you lose a little HP to do a lot more damage. So now we're going into our game 2. Like we said before, we have the Rayquaza, Kyogre, Ferrothorn, Gengar, Crobat, and Weavile on Kyle's side.
And on Mario's team, he has Xerneas, Giratina, Ferrothorn, Kangaskhan, Zapdos, and Togekiss. So I wonder if Mario's going to change up what he brings this time to better adapt to Kyle's team.
Yeah, you know, when you're down a game, you have to take what information you have from that first game and try to use it to your advantage. So you need to really swing this game in order to take this. Yeah, so Kyle took game 1. We need to see if Kyle's going to stick with the same strategy, go with what he knows, or if he's going to change it up to try to keep Mario guessing.
All right, so now Kyle versus Mario, game 2.
Yeah, this is going to be a really important game 2. Mario has to take this win to take it to a game 3 in order to secure that spot in the finals, because we have cash on the line. You know, who doesn't like money? And when we need this money, you know, there's a lot at stake.
Right.
All right, and we see Kyle go ahead and lead with his Crobat and his Kyogre. his Kyogre's going to go ahead and go into its primal reversion, and it's going to start that primordial C again.
And then we see on Mario's side that he has Kangaskhan and Ferrothorn sent out. So this seems like a pretty good lead for
both players, really. I mean,
yeah.
The Kangaskhan very much threatens that Kyogre. That Kangaskhan last game wanted to target down that Kyogre really bad. Hopefully this time it'll actually be able to finish the job. And then we see the Ferrothorn again. That Ferrothorn, it did a lot in the last game. And let's see what happens.
All right, so Kangaskhan is Mega Evolving.
Yep, so Mega Evolving, again, giving it the Parental Bond, making it so all of its attacks that hit a Pokemon hit twice.
Kyle's protecting his Kyogre this turn, making sure it doesn't take any damage, whereas Crobat sets up Tailwind. So Kyle is getting in a pretty good position here, setting up that Tailwind, making Kyogre pretty fast now.
Yeah, so all of the Pokemon that are going to come out for the next couple turns are going to be having increased speed. Now, Mario was really smart. Mario knew that the Kyogre, it was scared of it, and it decided to target down that Crobat.
Yeah, that was a very good play on Mario's side. Now the Crobat is almost knocked out, so if it goes for an attack, we could see the Kangaskhan maybe do a Sucker Punch next turn.
Yeah, like last game, that Kangaskhan easily took down the Crobat. Crobat really is the big threat right here to the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn resisting the Kyogre. The Crobat really needs to get that Super Fang off, like we saw last game, in order to get that HP swing on the Ferrothorn.
Yeah, Ferrothorn seems to have a pretty good match against his team. It does good amount of damage to Crobat and Kyogre, and also resists most of their moves that we've seen.
And on top of that, we saw the Iron Barbs as well as the Rocky Helmet. Means it's going to do a lot of damage to pay it back.
All right, so Kyle pulling back his Crobat, sending out his own Ferrothorn.
Oh, look, it's a shiny Ferrothorn.
Ooh,
so
pink.
So we got a lot of switching going on. The Kangaskhan's also going to switch out.
Mario's trying to preserve his Kangaskhan.
Yep, so now we see the Giratina. This is the first time we've seen Giratina come out. So let's see what it has to show. Giratina being Ghost and Dragon is going to resist that Origin Pulse. And we see the Leech Seed come out from Mario's Ferrothorn to go ahead and start getting some HP back from that pretty large Kyogre.
That seemed like a pretty good play on Mario's side, switching out saving his Kangaskhan, switching out into Giratina to ensure that he didn't take too much damage.
Yeah, that was a great play. Great play by Mario on that one.
A very important thing when you play doubles is you need to preserve your resources so they can be used later on when you need them. And the Kangaskhan is kind of like a win condition here because he'll do a lot of damage to both Kyogre and maybe Rayquaza if Kyle brings Rayquaza. And because of Parental Bond, it can also neutralize Focus Sash since it hits twice.
Yeah, and we already saw in the last game that the Rayquaza does have that Focus Sash, so being able to target down that Rayquaza, big win condition there. Big win condition against the Kyogre as well. Depending on how the Kyogre was trained, could have an increase on the defense, maybe, but that what we generally see from Kyogres is they maximize their special attack just to make sure that they get those knockouts when they're important.
Right, Kyogre and Rayquaza are normally seen as offensive, but who knows? Maybe Kyle trained these to be kind of defensive and bulky kind of Pokemon.
Yeah, and we both see Ferrothorn, very, very bulky Pokemon. We see
It's going for an icy win.
But we see it missed the Ferrothorn there. It's super effective against the Giratina, lowers the speed, but we see a Shadow Force come out. So that Shadow Force, it's going to disappear the Giratina, make it immune next turn, and it completely just avoided the Gyro Ball. Now we see the Power Whip come out. Gonna do a lot of damage.
Oh, but Kyogre doesn't
KO. Let's see if the Leech Seed takes it out.
And Kyogre goes down.
All right, that was a really, really big play on Mario. He really needed to get that KO on that Kyogre really bad.
Mario is making very good plays this game, using Giratina's Shadow Force to disappear for a turn. And a cool thing about Shadow Force is even if you protect, it's going to hit because Shadow Force goes straight through protect.
Yeah, and Shadow Force, it's exclusive to Giratina. No other Pokemon is going to get that move. So it's not like something you can just plan ahead for. Now, we see the Rayquaza come out on Kyle's side. The airlock, making sure that there's no weather conditions right now, but that left with the Kyogre anyway. Now, with Kyle being down a Pokemon, Kyle's going to have to make some serious plays now because both players, they're playing at their A game now. They're in top 4. They want that money. What do you think that Kyle's going to have to do to get this comeback?
So, Ferrothorn's pretty bulky on Mario's side, and it kind of blocks most attacks from Kyle's Ferrothorn, but Rayquaza will be able to do a lot of damage. However, Kyle also needs to be aware that maybe the Giratina is going to attack him, so he might want to maybe preserve it. But he's going for the overheat on Ferrothorn, trying to knock out, but Ferrothorn protects. And Giratina goes for the Shadow Force. Who's he targeting? He targets Rayquaza.
Yeah. And then we see a Leech Seed come out onto the Giratina. Gonna start getting that chip damage onto the Giratina. Start healing some HP back and getting a bit more advantage on this restricted Pokemon.
So we just saw Kyle's Tailwind go out, so his Pokemon are no longer at double the speed. They're now back at the regular speed. Yeah. But Rayquaza here is already pretty fast. He's got a really high speed stat. And
we saw in the last game, Rayquaza does have the extreme speed. So Rayquaza could pick up a big KO here, but we don't know if he's going to have to go for that. We already saw it has overheat. He may have targeted down that Ferrothorn, but now we have the Xerneas in its place.
So Rayquaza is actually going for Protect. Kyle's trying to save it this turn. Giratina is going for the Shadow Sneak on the Rayquaza, trying to knock out, but it didn't work. Kyle gets up the Gyro Ball, and Giratina almost knocks it out, but Giratina survives. But will the Leech Seed knock it out? It does! Giratina goes down!
That was a really big play to knock out that Giratina. That Giratina did a lot of damage. You know, it just swung things in a really positive direction. And now that Kyle's made that play, it evened up the field. Unfortunately, Kyle has some damaged Pokemon right now. His Rayquaza is hurting. His Crobat in the back is hurting. But his Ferrothorn hasn't been touched yet.
Ferrothorn's a pretty scary Pokemon to face because of its Iron Barbs, and you usually don't want to hit it with physical moves. And that's what the Kangaskhan and Giratina were shown to do, which were physical moves.
Yeah, and hopefully the Xerneas is going to be able to do something to break through that. Now, Xerneas having the Fairy Aura, Xerneas is able to do a bit more damage than most Fairy Pokemon in this case. He's switching out the Rayquaza. He's going to bring out that Crobat now. So now that we have that immunity there to the Fake Out, there we go.
Crobat goes down with the Fake Out.
Yeah, so this is a very, very good position for Mario. We see a Dazzling Gleam. That's going to hit that Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn resists it, so it does a little bit of damage. But that Gyro Ball is going to revenge right back onto that Xerneas.
It almost knocks out that Xerneas. That's crazy.
Yeah, puts it deep into the red. Now, with that, with the leftovers on the Ferrothorn, this is going to be a hard match for Mario to finish out. Now, we have the Rayquaza hurting, but that Ferrothorn is just blocking everything right now.
Yeah, Mario doesn't seem to have a Pokemon that can do too much damage to it right now.
Now, we do have a third Pokemon in the back on Mario's side. Hopefully, this advantage in Pokemon is going to give him something that it's going to pull out that win. Even though Ferrothorn has huge defense, those Iron Barbs, and it's been healing this entire time with leftovers.
So there are quite a few options here. The Rayquaza, as we saw in previous game, has extreme speed, so it could easily extreme speed the Xerneas and knock it out.
It absolutely can, yeah. And speaking of Xerneas, Xerneas does not want to have to take that extreme speed damage. And then we see the Ferrothorn come back out. And like we said, the extreme speed, that was going to be the win condition. But instead, he goes for the Kangaskhan.
Kangaskhan taking a bunch of damage from that, but going for the Power Up Punch from Ferrothorn. It's going to increase attacks, but that is going to do quite a bit of damage to Kangaskhan because of Iron Barbs.
And it's going to hit twice, which means it's going to take twice the damage. But at what cost?
At what cost? It barely survives.
Yeah. This is gonna be tough. You know, Kyle might swing this, but that Gyro Ball.
And the Kangaskhan goes down.
Yeah, Kangaskhan went down. That Iron Barbs really did a whole lot for Kyle on here. This Ferrothorn is paying its dividends today. Both players really great, really good Ferrothorn players here. Now with Kyle, both Pokemon hurting really, really bad. Both of them in the yellow. We still have the Ferrothorn on Mario's side, but we already know that Kyle's Rayquaza has overheat, so this could go either way. Now, Rayquaza has extreme speed that could take out the Xerneas, or it could try going for the overheat on the Ferrothorn. It really depends on where this Rayquaza is going to go.
Oh, and it looks like the Rayquaza is going for Protect. Kyle's trying to save it this turn because he doesn't want to faint. The Xerneas goes for a Moonblast, trying to get off enough damage to knock it out, and Ferrothorn barely survives.
See, and that was a really good play for Mario because Mario needed to get that extra damage off while the Xerneas was still around. Now we have this Ferrothorn that's deep in the red. We have this Rayquaza staring him down. It's gonna be a hard battle from here, but it looks pretty handily made as long as this overheat doesn't miss.
Right, Kyle could take his second win today if the overheat hits.
All right, and
but Mario's just forfeiting.
Mario forfeited, and Kyle takes the series. Good job, Kyle.